Hello there, I'm Tutua Danso, and today I have the privilege of sitting with the man, the medical practitioner, who became a social media sensation as a point, but now he's been able to transform into one of the highly sought after political actors or politicians in the country. I'm talking about Dr. Frank Amoakohene. He's the Minister Designate for the Ashanti region. It's good to see you, Doc.
Thank you, and good to see you.
Absolutely. Now, let's start off with your vetting, right? How did it go for you?
It was okay. I think that it was more of a forum to learn and also to share ideas.
Okay.
And I'm very glad how it went.
Okay, but what sort of preparation went into that?
So I had a team that I needed to work with on possible areas, among others. I also spent time to watch the other ministers and their responses as well. So I think that the team did a good job preparing me and all that.
So generally, it was a good vetting for you?
Yeah, it was. And looking at the feedback on the media.
What has been the feedback? Talk to me about it.
Oh, people are glad that I did not let the youth down. And at least His Excellency the President's decision to nominate me has been justified. Because people were expecting to hear from me for the first time.
Okay.
And fortunately, looking at the feedback, I feel that they are okay with the responses.
Okay. Now let's, date back to when the nominations came out. You heard your name. How did that make you feel?
Well, I got the wind just a day before the name came out.
Okay.
Yeah, because after the elections and everything, I was just focusing on my work as chief administrator for the party.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a day before, and I got the wind that your name is on table for discussion. So that's okay.
That's okay. That was your reaction?
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, it's the president and it's his government and he's worked with us. So he knows everyone's strength and what we can best do. So the name came out and I was like, really? Because initially and honestly, I wasn't expecting a ministerial role.
Okay. But you had put in the work. So what were you expecting?
Considering my age and everything, I was considering either a deputy ministerial or a CEO or even to remain within the party and work as a party
Right.
person.
You didn't think that you could frontline an entire ministry?
Not per se, but I didn't think that I'll get lucky.
Okay. But you put in the work.
Yes, I really worked hard during the campaign. I had the role of being a complement to my youth organizer, and again, having to drive the indigenous votes for the NDC. So I had to do extra because as secretary, it was expected that I would be in the office mainly to do more of the administrative work,
stuff.
Yes. But I spent days in the constituencies, some as much as 3 days, as much as 2 days and all that. And when I enter the constituency too, I don't just do the constituency capital. I move into the hinterlands and interact with the rural folks. At times it will be raining, you see me in the rains, I'll be on the top of a car and all that. All in the quest to make sure we are able to break the eye and be able to get our message across. And I think that it was one of the good works I've ever done so far as campaigning is concerned. So when it comes to the work as regional secretary, I did not give it a chance. I made sure I do it and do it well in order that I'll be able to secure the victory for the party.
Okay. You talked about getting indigenous votes for the party. After the elections, you did over 33% in the region. What did the magic for you?
In areas that I went to campaign, they mostly had not gotten the chance to listen to the NDC and what the NDC has to offer.
Okay.
They had been indoctrinated to the extent that they just saw anything NDC as either black and then everything NPP as white. So I needed to penetrate and let them understand that no, politics is an arena of ideas. And at any point in time, if the political party is not helping, you have every right or every mandate to change so that it will be a wake-up call for that politician as well. If you keep the person there, what it means is that you are endorsing whatever else that is going on. And also to let them know the policy alternatives we had as a party.
Okay.
Doing that, I'm sure they bought into it, for which reason we were able to garner that support from the region.
But did you at any point feel that this thing I'm doing may be an exercise in futility? Because you saw the number of days the NPP spent in the region.
Yes, so during the campaign, after my first 3 constituencies, I noticed that it was the right path I had taken.
Okay. What gave you that indication that it was the right path?
I'm an Ashanti, born, bred there, I know their reaction towards NDC. And the fact that they wouldn't even take your T-shirt, let alone open their doors to even listen to you.
By this time, they were taking your
Yes,
T-shirts.
they were, sorry. And after doing that, I realized that I need to push more. And upon pushing, I noticed that there was a panic reaction from the MPP side.
Oh.
Yes.
Talk to me about that.
The number of days they spent in the region was all a panic reaction. And they noticed that the grounds were not for them in those times. And all they could do was to increase their presence and visibility, but it was too late for them.
But their argument is that they lost the elections because there was voter apathy in that region. Don't you think that if, the people that decided not to vote decided to vote, they would have, won the election?
What would make someone who voted for you decide not to vote? They tell you that you didn't do something right. So they should stop pampering themselves with all these antics and focus on rebuilding their party.
Okay.
So it is not a justification for why they lost.
Okay. Now, you have made your gains in the region. You have won a number of seats that traditionally the NPP would have won. What are your prospects for those regions? How do you intend cementing, or you think that it's just going to be a one-off thing?
Thank you. So, in most of the new seats where I went to campaign, Hammond, if he wants to know why...
You destroyed him.
Yeah, if he wants to know why he lost, it's because of toilets.
He lost because of toilets?
Yes.
How?
There is no community in his constituency that has a public toilet. And the constituents openly talk about it. When I went there to campaign, they come for the mic and they talk about it with passion. And he grows over that. Fumso Market, for instance, was started by the NDs. He forgot about the market. It's the biggest market, especially on that outstretch.
Okay.
So he was out of touch with the people. And that is a mistake that we will not do or we would not want to do. So I've told my MPs that as much as possible, be closer to the people. Because the needs of people change as and when. You may have gone there to campaign, they will tell you what they want. But in the space of a month or a year, those needs may change. You should be sensitive enough to always be abreast with their needs. And I'm sure that once we stay closer with the people, we should be able to impress them and we should be able to bring in some more developmental injection into the region and the constituencies. And I'm very hopeful that in 2028 they're going to maintain us and maintain the MPs.
But don't you think that the MPP may also come up with strategies that will make them reclaim those seats?
We'll come up with superior strategies.
I see. I mean, you've been sworn in. You've not been sworn in. That's a prophecy. You have been nominated. You're through with vetting and all of that. When it comes to the Ashanti region, give me your top 5 priorities.
As I mentioned earlier on, jobs.
Jobs?
The legacy projects that are stalled, to be able to complete most of them. i.e. roads, hospitals, markets.
We will delve into the nitty-gritties of that, but yeah, just give me your 5.
It's also another area I'm going to look at. How we best implement the 24-hour economy within the region is also another area. And then mining is also another area that I'll best pay attention to.
Okay. Talking about markets, I was there in November. I was in the Ashanti region in November, and I had the pleasure of seeing the KTR market, phase 2 of that. The project has stalled. What's your plan?
I would embark on a comprehensive review, not just on only the KTR market, but also on all other stalled projects, to look out for why they stalled in the first place. Is there a problem of funding, or is it a problem of lack of political will? Upon that comprehensive review, I'll be able to take an informed decision on how we proceed to resume work on all these projects.
But
so that
are you giving any assurance that that project will be completed?
Oh, definitely. Not just from me, but from His Excellency the President.
Do you have timelines?
No timelines yet. No timelines yet.
Okay.
But we are committed to see him. And the President, during the Akwasi Festival, when he visited, made that assurances to His Royal Majesty 2482. And having the opportunity to represent him, it is my duty to equally remind the President and also work in order that we'll be able to fulfill that assurance.
Okay. Now, let's talk about healthcare. Your region alone has 16 of the Agenda 111 projects. We know that there are also a number of health facilities that haven't been completed, like the Siwa, Kumewu, Fomena, Afre Military Hospital, and whatnot. Will you be able to complete these projects?
So you see, healthcare delivery in Ghana starts from the very base, the primary healthcare. So if you realize, His Excellency John Mahama in his first term spent a lot of resources in building CHIP compounds and then health centers. Many of them were open for use, but there are a lot of them too that have been left to rot. And during my campaign time, I visited most of them. So to be able to have a good control of our health delivery system in Ashanti, we need to make sure we completely take care of the primary health care, which is the CHIP compound, the health centers. Then we now move on to the secondary, which is the district hospitals.
Okay.
District hospitals, Kubawu Hospital, Formina Hospital, Bekwai Hospital, Tepa Hospital, among other Agenda 111 projects that were initiated. They all need to be completed so that if there is any case that cannot be treated at the primary level, at least they can refer to the district level.
So you're giving your region the assurance that
that one during the campaign, the people had issues with the MPP concerning neglect of projects. So it's a commitment that definitely as much of them that we need to complete, we will do complete.
Okay.
Then from there we move to the tertiary, where the Sewa Hospital comes in, the Afari Hospital comes in. Those two projects is to help reduce the pressure on Komfanochi, so that we can give Komfanochi a world-class touch, and to help Otumfo with the Hill Komfanochi project.
Okay.
So as a medic and with a medical background, I'm going to pay attention to that as well.
Okay. You also talked about the fact that the people had raised several complaints about the fact that there had been a lot of abandoned projects in the region. Now let's talk about the Swami roundabout. What did you see? Repeat that.
You know, when you cut sword and you're commissioning, you still have to cut a ribbon to commission.
Okay.
So if you don't keep that ribbon well and you cut the sword and you get lost, you can't commission it, obviously. So President Akufo-Addo and the MPP, they cut sword, yes, and they gave themselves timeline that by the end of 2024, they will complete the Swami interchange, and then they will complete all the adjoining roads. Unfortunately, they couldn't. Swami interchange is, I think, around 35 to 40% done. Okay. They have 60 to do. So I gave.
And you say that you find the sword. How will you do that?
I would conduct a comprehensive review on the project and the source of funding for it, because I'm very sure that once there is funding, even if the contractor is not willing to or doesn't have the competencies to do the same, you can still have someone else stepping in to help with the job. I'll conduct a comprehensive review on same, so that I'll be able to know what really the issues are and how I'll be able to drive that project. Okay.
Next on my list will be mining, but before that, I want to talk about this development that came up just the early parts of this month, the abandoned regional minister's residency. How did you feel when you saw that project? Terrible.
We got a wind of it during the campaign time. It was a whistleblower, a report that the place was in tatters. So after the transition and after the swearing in, I think on 10th, there was no leadership for the region except for the party leadership.
Okay.
So we sought leave with the Ghana Police Service and the regional chief director, to go and have a look at the place. We went there in the presence of the media, so that the story will not be twisted as though we went there to vandalize the place. No. When we went there, we realized that the presidential villa was in good shape. The regional minister's residence was equally not in good shape, to the extent that furniture, TV, air conditions, all these items have been removed from the place. There are other buildings over there too. In those other buildings, you realize that the burglar-proof, the glasses, everything metallic has been removed from those buildings. And now our worry was that the place is guarded by the Ghana police. So how come someone will come in, remove all these items without their notice? And again, when you're entrusted with state assets, you have every responsibility of making sure that even if you don't use them, they will still be in good shape. So yes, we are worried, and we charge whoever becomes the regional minister to make sure we commission an investigation into the process. Fortunately,
it looks like you were talking to yourself.
Yes, it was a prophecy to myself. So I'm going to make sure that those commitments we needed from the regional minister, I implement same. And not only that, take the responsibility to redevelop the place in a very befitting manner. Said that anytime the president is in the region, he will be able to find a place there.
But are you disappointed in Simon?
Uncles are expected to leave a legacy for their nephews.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, my uncle has left me a debt and a messed up residence. I would not judge him yet. I would want to. I called him actually, and I even sent him a text before even we went there and all that. I gave him that benefit of the doubt.
Did he respond? What did he say?
No, he's not responding. He's not returned the call yet.
Mm.
I'll give him that benefit of the doubt and sit with him and then be able to learn from his mistakes and his successes so that I will become a better regional minister.
Okay, but you say that he hasn't responded to your text till date. Do you think that he will be willing to sit with you?
Oh, definitely he will. Definitely he will. He's the same person who gave me his number. Then I was regional secretary. We met at the mall. He was going to buy some items.
He didn't think that his party would win. I mean, your party would win.
Yes, definitely. And I'm sure he's still in the stages of grief. And I'm sure that with time he will come up and he will know that elections are either to be won or to be lost. And he will heal from the broken heart. And I'm sure
you think that he's not come to terms with reality?
No, yeah. Most of them are not out of the defeat, yes.
Staying on him, when it comes to his performance as a regional minister, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate him?
I won't be the best judge in this situation.
But you were in the region.
I was in the region, but I
you
won't
observed.
Be the best.
You were in every corner.
Rightly so. But in this situation where I am replacing him directly, I don't want to sound as though I'm dragging all that he did into the drain or something. So my opinion definitely will count. But I'm sure that if you interact with other citizens within the region, I'm sure their opinion will best represent how they felt about their minister.
Okay. Now let's talk about mining. Your region is one of the regions in the country that is largely confronted with mining. I mean, years ago, the Ashanti region used to boast of being the garden city, but in present day, you're faced with deforestation issues, illegal mining. What's your plan? Is there hope for the Ashanti region?
There is hope. There is hope. Once we provide job alternatives for the youth, there is hope. When I went for campaign activities...
You think the issue with illegal mining has solely to do with unemployment?
Yeah, it has. And they having alternatives, a lucrative alternative. Because when I went through the mining areas during the campaign activities, I realized that they are equally concerned because there are many times that, aside from the shooting incident that occurred in Obuasi, pits collapse on them. They lose family members in pits, among others. And they are not too excited about that. But obviously, that is the only choice they have. So together with central government, we work closely to give them alternative skills in order that they will find something else doing instead of engaging in such a highly fatal, illegal activity. Once we're able to do that, one, through the National Apprenticeship Program, as I mentioned yesterday, we have a digital skill upgrade we want to also have for the youth. And again, to also make the agricultural sector lucrative. Interestingly, all the mining areas, the lands are arable for cocoa production.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we got most of the cocoa farmers cutting down their cocoas to engage in illegal mining because they felt that they could easily make that money instead of focusing on the cocoa. Yesterday, I mentioned during the vetting that I work closely with the Agric Minister. The cocoa mass spraying is one area that takes away some of their profits. The fertilizers they buy is one of the areas that take away their profit. And again, the prices we give them. The Agric Minister, fortunately, has made a commitment. It's going to increase the prices we give to the farmers. We're going to work on the cocoa mass spraying and also going to revisit the free fertilizer policy we had for the cocoa farmers. With this, I'm very sure that every cocoa farmer now will know that he will make good profit from the cocoa production so that they can help us own the fight and be able to combat the illicit mining.
Okay. But you say that the youth in the area are engaged in mining because there aren't alternatives for them to make money. But we've also had certain political figures being behind these illegal mining activities. We heard about Chairman Wuntumi and at a point even Sampine. Will you go after them?
Any person who is found to be associated with any illegality whatsoever, irrespective of your class in society, definitely we will not let you go scot-free. Yes, Akonta mining, among others, there were issues concerning their licenses and the permission for them to enter the forest reserve, among others. These are all pending issues that definitely, together with central government, we will look at it. If anyone is at fault on any of these areas, irrespective of your status in society, we'll make sure that the law takes its course. Again, if the youth is well employed and endowed
I
with
want
the
to stay
skill,
on. So if Chairman Woon to me and his Akunta mining are found to be culpable, will you go after him?
they are not above the law, are they? They are not. So the law will take its course.
Okay.
Same as Sampine, if he's found culpable.
But when you were making those allegations, did you have evidence?
I have not made this allegation.
I mean, your
on any
party
platform.
as a
Yes.
whole.
So, yes, there were documents from the Frimpong Boating's committee that suggested that Akunta mining that was partly owned by Wontumi among some other MPP officials were illegally mining within forest reserves, among others. So this is a report that came from their very own government.
Okay.
So we're going to peruse that and make sure that at the end of the day, we set the good example for political leaders that when you are given the political power, use that power to do good.
Okay. Now, talk to me. I want us to draw more on agric, because you say that is one of your top priorities for the region. You're facing a lot of land issues, as I said earlier. What's your plan for the agric sector in the region, beyond cocoa farming?
We have huge arable lands. Aside from Kumasi that is choked and the peri-urban areas, most of the MMDAs have vast lands. The constituency or the district that has most of them is the Central Farm Place. And I'm sure that one of these days you have to visit the area so you can see for yourself the kind of lands that we are blessed with. I mentioned yesterday in Parliament that most of the urbanized MMDAs have the capital or the liquidity, but they don't have the land to venture into agric. Most of the areas that they have the lands to, they don't have the capital to inject in that sector. So I think under Section 119 of the Local Government Act, the MMDAs are permitted to acquire lands in outside of their jurisdiction. I think that we will explore that provision in law so that KME, for instance, can purchase a land within such a farm place. Definitely the farmers, among others, will be people from the locality. It's a win-win situation for both municipalities. And again, the Minister for Food and Agriculture, during his vetting, also made an indication and a commitment to the manifesto promise of establishing mechanized centers, so that if you're a youth and you want to enter or venture the agric sector, you would have that capital injection and the tools and equipment to support whatever you want to do within that sector. I'm very sure that if we focus on these areas, we should be able to attract more of the youth into the agric sector.
Okay. I wanted to touch a little bit on politics. You say that during your campaign, you were literally across every corner in the Ashanti region to win a number of seats. Let's talk about the Obuasi East seat, for instance. You were contesting that seat in court.
We are still contesting.
You are still contesting?
3 seats. We are contesting the Afano North seat, the Afano Southwest seat, and the Obuasi West seat.
But we understand that. I mean, I understand that Samuel Abaje withdrew at a point.
No, he's not withdrawn.
He's not withdrawn?
Yeah, we're still in court.
So that publication that came out that he had withdrawn was false?
Yeah. Fake news. We were even in court yesterday. Yes, we were in court yesterday.
So you are still contesting the Obuasi East?
Yes, we are still contesting the Obuasi East court. We are still contesting that seat because we won fairly and squarely.
You have the evidence to prove that you won? Yes, the
evidence to prove that. And the EC never declared the results under duress. If you compare the declaration at Obuasi East Collation Center and that was declared in Accra, you realize that even the Accra own was under duress. I'll give you those 2 videos, then you compare.
Okay.
We have every exhibit and every evidence to prove beyond any reasonable doubt. So we are still in court.
Okay, so what figure did Samuel poll?
I don't have it offhand.
You don't have it offhand?
I don't have it offhand, but it was beyond 20,000. And the difference between him and the MPP, I've forgotten his name, was beyond 300 votes. The difference between the two.
Okay.
Yeah. But during their recollation, they indicate that they beat us by 19 votes. A seat that you had a lead of over 14,000, and now you are beating us by 19 votes. And you expect us to believe you that what you are doing rather is right. No. We won that seat. And when I went there to campaign, all the way from Tutuka, Brahabebume, and all the other areas I went to, I realized that the people were determined to change the MP.
But why wouldn't you just let sleeping dogs lie? I mean, the NPP candidate is now the member of parliament for the area.
No, it's about setting the right precedent.
Okay.
It's about setting the right precedents. Today we have won with overwhelming majority in parliament. What if there is another election in the future where it will be a split parliament like we had in 2020? And you have allowed some precedents, some bad precedents to be set. People will refer you back to what happened in Obuasi East that you let go. Why are you not letting this go? The reason for which we are still pursuing all those other seats. Because we need to set the right precedents.
And you are hopeful that you can claim that seat?
Definitely so.
Because you have your evidence?
Definitely so.
As against what the MPP is saying?
Definitely so. We are very confident in winning that seat.
Okay.
And the court, I'm sure, will give that fair hearing, examine the evidence, and I'm sure he'll come out with a ruling that will be favorable to the
Okay.
NDC.
You say you're also contesting what?
Ahafo North and Ahafo Southwest.
Okay. Do you also have the figure of the candidates, the NDC candidates?
In those constituencies, GHOne won. And after GM's victory, they felt that the MP was also going to win, for which reason there was an invasion at the collation centers. They destroyed all the pink sheets.
Okay.
So the case there is that you cannot declare any result from a notebook or any other material aside of that of a pink sheet. And you cannot declare results without recourse to the political parties involved. They never invited us for any coalition whatsoever. All we found on the media is that one-sided, an EC officer, together with the MPP candidates, have been declared winners. We can't accept such a result. We need to be sure of the pink sheets that were used for that declaration.
But you say these were destroyed.
Exactly.
How will they be found?
Exactly. So how then is it sorcery or witchcraft to be able to find it on the other side and make a declaration? So the EC had no pink sheets whatsoever to declare those results.
So you'll be contesting that as well?
Yeah, we are it's still in court. We are contesting that. If we want to agree as a country that an EC can declare results without pink sheet, so be it. So that we have that precedent, and we know that in the near future, if anything of that nature happens, Tutuwa will not be seated here questioning our sense of loyalty to the state.
Okay. I mean, won't that be an exercise in futility? Because you don't have evidence, and you know that even in courts, evidence is the name of the game.
Precisely so. The reason for which the EC
maybe the other side on the opposing party, they have the evidence to prove.
No, they don't. Because the EC is the only party in the election process who have the original pink sheets. The handwritten, pen-written pink sheets. All that we get is the carbon copy. All that the MPP get is the carbon copy. And we are saying authority that all the pink sheets got destroyed during the invasion, including that of the EC.
Okay.
And we have evidence to that all the pink sheets were destroyed, including accounts from the returning officers in those constituencies. So we have our evidence intact. And again, there was a conflict of interest, especially at Ahafo North.
Tell me about it.
You don't want to know about it?
I want to know.
The MPP candidate was dating the returning officer, and we have evidence to that. During the invasion, she ran away, and unfortunately she left her phone over there, which was picked by some of the boys. They looked at it, and it was her phone. She didn't have a password on it. And every chat between her and the MPP candidate is in our possession. We've made this issue public and on all platforms. And she knows that she doesn't have her phone.
So the EC officer in the Ahafo North constituency was going out with the NPP's parliamentary candidates. So you think... So you think that she wanted to compromise... There's a huge
conflict of interest. And even the call for military invasion and all that came from that angle. We have all that evidence. That's the reason why we are in court. So the court will let us know whether the EC officer acted in true faith to the oath that she swore before she assumed office as EC officer. Okay. You examine all that.
Okay, so when your boys were going through the charts, I'm not being too nosy, but when they were going through the charts, did they see any message that, would indicate that... I'll
share that with you. Maybe if you want to publish it, you can publish it.
I cannot do that. My producer will not allow me. No, but I just want to know from you if at any point they chance on any text that said that.
Yeah.
Let's do A, B, and C.
Yeah. Even the selection of a coalition center was a matter of discussion in the chat. The selection of a coalition center.
These are wild allegations.
Oh, I would not sit here as a minister designated and make wild allegations that are unfounded. And I've made an emphatic statement that Her phone is not with her. If she's bought a new phone, that is fine. But her phone is not with her. And for any reason, if you
but is that not an invasion of privacy?
If you have lost your phone, you easily go to the police and report that you have lost your phone. Is that not the case?
Maybe she has.
Yeah,
You just don't know about it.
And I'm saying on this platform that she doesn't have her phone. So you should make a case with the police and they should come for the phone.
So you and your boys, or your boys invaded her privacy?
I wasn't there doing the
Your
invasion.
boys invaded her privacy.
I have information on everything. Invasion of privacy.
Mm-hmm.
You want to summon our will. You are there and you want to talk about invasion of privacy. She should see you with the boys and go and explain why she left the phone there.
Wow.
You can't do this as a public official. It's so unethical.
Okay.
But I don't know, maybe I'm entrained because I'm a medical doctor. There's something that are basic ethics that you shouldn't do. Conflict of interest, clear conflict of interest.
Okay.
And you're taking instructions from a party to an election. You don't do that.
Okay.
It is so disgraceful.
Okay. I see. Let's talk tourism now. You have a thriving culture in your region. I mean, everybody loves the Akwisidai. I love it. People love the fact that you always flaunt your culture. You know, you are proud Ashantis. What's your plan for the tourism sector? And specifically, let's talk about Kumawood first. That industry is almost non-existent.
Yeah. I have plans of meeting them.
What's your plan?
I'll meet them, assess the situation. I think their internal conflict did not help. And the overly politicization of their front.
Okay.
You see Ejako here, you see this person here.
We see Michael Afrani for the NDC.
Here and all that. I think that, if not for anything, for the next 3 years, we should put behind our partisan affiliation and unite and get together to do something better for the industry and for
But you engage them to campaign for you, so how then do
campaign
they...
is over. After elections, no campaign.
Okay.
No be so. So we need to come together and see how we can revive that industry. Because it was one that was saving the Ghana movie industry. And at the point in time, Kumawood was very vibrant to the extent that the Gollywood folks were partnering with the Kumawood guys. And unfortunately, the Nigerians are still succeeding whilst we are not really thriving. So I'll meet with them. We would have a holistic review of what happened, try as much as possible to solve some of the internal conflicts. And maybe the issues where I need to bring in Malaysia, I'll do that because I know they have a huge respect. We all do for Malaysia. And I'm sure Tunfor would want to have the Kumawood survive and revived as well.
Okay.
So we would take that move to see how we can save that industry. Moving from there, Malaysia alone is a whole institution for tourism. The cultural and the historical significance of Malaysia can never be downplayed. Growing up, we used to visit the place. They would take us on a tour to look at all the fig trees and all the Amoakohene and all the other items and ornaments that were used in the past. I work closely with the sector minister, as I mentioned before Parliament yesterday, so that we can see how we bring in the Black Star experience to make sure that we get Ashanti region moving. Bonre for Kente, Adangomasi for Kente, and Tonso, and Sha, they are all into woodwork, wood carving, and among others. We have other Atria Mountains, the other Warhol Stones, and all the other areas, Lake Bosumchi. I'll sit together with the ministry. We'll see how best we can redevelop these sites so that we can attract Tutua and Ku from Accra to also visit.
No problem. I'm actually a fan of the Ashanti region, but you mentioned Kente. I want to ask you this question briefly. The Kente, what you wore for the vetting, was that a Kente?
Yeah.
You're very beautiful. What inspired your outfit choice?
Thank you. This question again, I think I answered it during the vetting. I'm sure you want to confirm whether I was reading from a teleprompter.
Or you meant what you said.
So yes, so the Kente, the name of it is Asanteman.
Asanteman.
Yeah, Asanteman. It has most of the symbols that represent significant commitments to the Ashanti original Asanteman for that matter. It has the porcupine. The porcupine has quills or spines. Those spines work in a coordinated manner in self-defense or to fight against predators anytime there is a need for same. So it represents the unity that we have. You may see Asantis independently or Asanteman independent individuals here and there. But when there is a need to come together for a particular purpose, we're able to do that rightly as the porcupine does. Also had a spider web in the cloth. Okay. So with that web, in a Asante folktale telling and storytelling, we use Kokwanansi. Kokwenansi is projected as a very wise figure or character.
Trickster. That's what I know.
Wise. He's not a trickster.
Okay.
With so much wisdom that he can surmount every situation among others. And the web, it said that you see them with individual patterns whatsoever, but they are interconnected in a very beautiful manner that helps the spider move and navigate its path.
Okay.
And also it signifies unity that within the Ashanti Kingdom. We also had the Akofna and in the GHOne, which also signifies royal authority and then loyalty to Ashanti man and Ghana at large. The colors, green, yellow, and then black. The green is for the green vegetation of Ashanti. The yellow is for our gold and our richness. And then the black is for our race. And also the black stools that were brought together before Konfanochi brought down the golden stool for His Royal Majesty Uchumfo Sechuchu. So basically, this is the inspiration behind that kente and the meaning of the symbols that were embroidered in the
Okay, interesting. But one thing that also caught my eye during the vetting was the people that you had supporting you. You had Dr. Kwabena Dufo there, you had the Amoakohene there, you had Betty Modi Drisu,
Dr. Samuel Sapon.
As young as you are, how did you manage to put all of these people under one roof to support you?
Professor Otienje, Professor
The list goes on and on.
So these are all huge social capital and social support system who are very much interested in youth in leadership. And they've been my support system all the way from student leadership.
Okay.
So if you check my Betty's...
So during your GRASAC days?
NUX days, NASAC days, Mampo parliamentary candidates, and also as regional secretary. If you check my Betty's phone, he saved my number as Frank, NUX president.
Okay.
That's as far back as she knows me. And also when I became regional secretary, I had to work with them as former ministers and also work with them, some on the Council of Elders. Dr. Dufo is my uncle, actually. So
biological uncle?
Yeah, biological uncle.
Okay.
So for him, we've had that family thing for a very long time. So yes, Amoakohene is my mother and my queen mother as well. So she needed to come and support her very own son. My pastors were also there.
Okay.
And my family had Mr. Ntie Dubonsafo together with the family were all there to support me.
Okay. Now we are wrapping up. You have the opportunity to lord over close to 5.4 million people in the Ashanti region. What will be your message to them? I think that's your camera.
Okay, so anyone and everyone listening to me, whether you are within Ashanti region, whether you have an affiliation with the Ashanti region, whether you are home or abroad, wherever you find yourself and you have Ashanti region at heart, I would only call on you all for the needed support so that we'll be able to develop Ashanti region. I want us to use Ashanti region as a test case to see how we'll be able to transform the country. Let's use Ashanti as a pilot study in order that we can turn the local economy, we can turn the job opportunities over there for the better of the people in Ashanti region. I only call on you to support me. I'm very young, yes, but it's also a case to make sure that we promote youth in leadership and we are able to equally set a good precedence in order that we will be able to get more youth to participate in governance and leadership in Ghana. With this said, I will thank you all, and I'm very sure that we'll be working together, for which reason, wherever you are, find time, visit Ashanti, let's get in touch, let's develop Ashanti region in our homeland, Ghana. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, but when are you inviting the team and I to eat fufu and...
Fufu and Akante soup.
When are you giving us that invitation?
After swearing in.
After swearing in. Yeah, ready.
Come down to Kumasi.
No problem. We'll come. But thank you very much for speaking to me, and congratulations once again.
Thank you.
That was Dr. Frank Amoakohene, the 34-year-old Ashanti Regional Minister who takes over from the 63-year-old Simon Osei-Mensah. That has been my conversation with him about the Ashanti region and all the issues that matter in that region. Thank you very much for your time. I am Tutu Adanso.